There's one or two ways you can take a look at, or you can kind of think about what happened tonight out there or up there in Boston. You can look at it as the gritty effort from a team in the Flyers that is just not there yet, and they went toe to toe with the best team in the National Hockey League and pretty much skated with them for 2.5 periods or so. Or you can look at this thing and just really kind of gauge just how far away the Philadelphia Flyers are, just how far away this organization is in being anything that resembles a playoff contender or a Stanley Cup champion contender. Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to Clear the Ice here on the Edge of Philly Sports with your boy Matty B. And 4-1 tonight. Winless streak now goes to 5, and we're half the way there to that 10-gamer that seems more and more possible and more likely as we move through these days. And as I mentioned, the team skated well. They skated with the Bruins for 2.5 periods. They threw everything they had at Boston. They dug deep. I don't doubt that every player did not leave everything they had out there on the ice of TD Gardens. It's in the end, it just wasn't enough. The Flyers just didn't have the horses, and the Bruins did, and that's really the contrast of what the Flyers are versus what the Bruins are, and it should serve as a stark reminder to everybody who follows this team, the Flyers, how far away we are and how bad things are, and where we are as an organization in the overall grand scheme of things. Patrick Brown returned to the lineup for the Flyers tonight, but now Travis Konecny, who did not return for the third period, reported hand injury. I don't know the severity of that yet, so another player could possibly be going down. It's just doesn't seem fair that we can't catch a break. One comes back, one goes out, and in the end, again, it just came down to horses. It just came down to the Bruins just had too much, and the Flyers just don't have enough. And that's what's going to happen when they come up against those elite teams in the NHL. And they're going to put in their effort. And my fear is that as these losses begin to mount, and as we slip further and further out of this thing, that the players themselves kind of just start to give up and lose hope. And then we go out and we start losing these games 8-1 or 7-0 or something like that. It's just it's a fine line of trying to keep that team together right now. And John Tortorella's got his work cut out for him. He knew it going into the season. We knew it going into the season, and now it's transpiring on the ice as we all kind of expected it would. Flyers are now 7-7-3 on the season. Winless streak now stands at 5, and we're halfway there to that god awful 10-game losing streak or 10-game winless streak that we just can't seem to stay away from every year. I don't know. Definitely going to take a look at this thing, and I'm definitely not losing faith. I mean, I am who I am, and I'm a Fire fan through and through, and I won't ever bail on this team. But these are the times they're going to test men's character, and mine will be tested as well. But let's take a little bit of look inside the numbers here tonight, shall we? The Bruins and Flyers. Tortorella spoke pregame about getting off to a good start, not finding themselves down early against this team, because this is a type of team that if you do find yourself getting off to a bad start, give up that cheesy early goal, things could get definitely away from this team quickly. I noticed it from the very beginning. The Flyers played maybe one of the best first periods, if not the best first period they've played all season. Were very aggressive, had oodles of opportunities. Linus Ullmark was really the last line of defense there, as the Flyers really had the majority of the scoring opportunities in that first period. Some technical issues with their scoring opportunities. We got players down low, wide open, but they're shooting too late, so their window of opportunity is closed a little bit. They're not most of the net is not open to them as they're holding the puck a little too long, or that pass is coming at them a little bit too late, really cutting down a good percentage of that net. So that's got to be cleaned up too. Goal scoring and passing are all really field type situations, and you got to be better with those passes. You got to be quicker with those passes. You got to be more decisive with those passes. You got to give these wingers or these centers opportunities with the majority of the net open to them so they can do something. A lot of the passes this season, a lot of the opportunities, a lot of the major scoring opportunities, or the odd man rush opportunities that this team has had this year, has resulted in poor shots at the very end of it because there was some indecision, or there was a split second. The pass was held off by a split second, closing down a good portion of the net and really kind of hamstringing the shooter and only be able to make one little attempt. So the Flyers tonight did have the majority of the first period effort or opportunities, but again, it's frustrating to see these passes just not getting there fast enough, or the decision of the shooter to shoot versus pass just not quick enough. And again, that's going to come with this young team as they figure themselves out. But for the most part, the Flyers, I thought, outplayed the Bruins in the first period. I think Boston was lucky to come off the ice 1-0 or nothing. It could have very well been 3-0 Flyers. To a better team, it might have been 3-0. Boston would have been down, but it wasn't. It was 0-0. The Bruins would get things going in the second period. They would get the first goal of the game, and let me go to that. Um, the Bruins would score at the 11:25 mark of the second. Thomas Nosek with his second of the goal, or second of the year, from Foligno and Zakara to make it 1-0 Bruins, and that would be your score again as the Flyers skated. I mean, they skated their hearts out. They threw everything at the Bruins that they could. They were down 1-0 heading into the second intermission. And then as the third period began to kind of transpire, you just saw the cream rising to the top, so to speak. You just saw the horses pulling away from the stable, and it just was really frustrating to watch. Jake DeBrusk would get the Bruins on top for good at the 7:32 mark of the second period, his sixth on the power play. The Flyer special teams once again coming up short, gave up 2 power play goals tonight. Owen Thibodeau would get things even again as the Flyers would capitalize on their power play at the 9:48 mark of the second period, his fourth of the year, tying things up at 2. But then David Krejci would break it open, his third goal of the year at the 10:04 mark, making it 3-1. And then on the power play, David Krejci again about 5 minutes later, making it 4-1. And that's how you had it tonight, 4-1 Bruins, as the Flyers went down. And again, it's frustrating because you could see them pushing. It's frustrating because you could see them working their butts off, and it's just they just don't have enough, and it was evident. The Bruins outshot the Flyers tonight, 32-23, ending the Flyers' streak of outshooting their opponents. It was 4. They were coming into this game having outshot their opponents in their last 4 games. The Flyers shot 4 total now for the season is 496, and their shot against is 581. The Flyers were 1 for 4 on the power play tonight, now raising their mark to 10 for 56 on the season for 17% efficiency. Flyers also gave up 2 shorthanded goals as the Bruins were 2 for 4 on their power play. You look at the, it's just it was a frustrating game, a game in which if the Flyers were a better team, they should have won. They outplayed the Bruins in a lot of the aspects of this game. Carter Hart had a clean game. He had one of the better games that I've seen him have in a little bit, and he did everything he could. But again, it's just not enough. Linus Ullmark, who had himself a hell of a game for the Bruins tonight, 22 saves, 957 save percentage. He gets your first star honors. David Krejci with 2 goals and 2 points, he is your second star, and Pavel Zacha with 2 assists is your third star. All Bruin stars tonight as the Flyers fall to the Boston Bruins now 4-1. And now they will head off to Montreal to close out this little 3-game road trip against the Canadiens on Saturday night. And as I mentioned, the winning streak or the winless streak is now up to 5. And I can sense the frustration in a lot of people. When you check social media or whatnot, people are getting frustrated with they're getting frustrated with every aspect of this team, and I feel it, I sense it, I understand it. But as we've talked about this so far on this program, and we'll continue to talk about this as we move through this season, this is what they are. This the hockey team that they are. And it's not like they're not getting the effort. The effort's there. It's just not translating in wins because they just are not good enough. As I mentioned, Patrick Brown came back tonight into the lineup, but now we potentially could have Travis Konecny going out. So we can't catch a break there. What is up with the injuries? Why is this team so earmarked for injuries? And what is the latest on Cam Atkinson? What is the latest on Sean Couturier? What is the latest on these injuries? Where are they? Why are they not playing? What is going on? And all that is just really, it is starting to kind of bubble over. I understand, heading into the season, we didn't have much to begin with. And it's gotten worse with the fact that we've lost two major contributors in Couturier and Atkinson for the whole season. And yet there's no reports, no news. I know they had a setback, but that was like a month ago. Where are they in that setback? What is going on with the injury situation? And why? And why are these players getting hurt so frequently? It's amazing to me. I've never seen a team, holistically year after year after year, so injured as the Philadelphia Flyers are. Is it the players that they got? Are they soft? Or is it again the training regime? I mean, what is going on with these injuries? And when you play a game of hockey and it's a violent sport, I understand people are going to get dinged up. But I've never seen a team so besieged with injuries over year after year after year as I have with the Flyers over the last 5 years. I've just never seen it before. And it's frustrating to watch. And I'm sure it's frustrating for Chuck Fletcher. I guarantee you it is. But what's the reason around it? Is it the players? Is it the regime? Is it I want to know. And when's it going to end? I guess it's the best question, but can't like fall on that sword, I guess. But so Flyers are now 7-7-3 on the season. They winless streak now is up to 5. They will go to Montreal on Saturday night and face the Canadiens, and another one of those type games where we really need a win. I mean, Daddy needs a win bad, and we got to get one on Saturday. Montreal Canadiens are a good team. They're a team a lot like the Flyers with a little bit more firepower, but it's a winnable game. As I said, the Flyers skated for 2.5 periods with the best team in the NHL tonight. They gave everything they had, and it just wasn't enough. So hopefully, going into Montreal, we had the same type of effort. They get off to the same kind of start that they got off to tonight. The results will be different, and potentially we'll come out of there with victory and salvage at least one of these games of this road trip before the Flyers head back home on Monday to face the Calgary Flames. So, this would be really the time in the show where we would check in on Connor Bednar, but Connor did not play tonight. So his stat line is still as it was the other night when we talked about it. 20 games played, 18 goals, 25 assists, 43 points, 30 penalty minutes, and a +10 as he continues to shine in the Western Hockey League. And hopefully, if the cards break right, he's a Flyer here very, very soon. But unfortunately, there's a lot more of this left to go as we move through this second month of the season, the first full month of the season, actually. So earlier tonight, obviously, John Tortorella in the pregame said that it was imperative this team got off to a good start. It was imperative that they got off to a better start. And mission accomplished. I thought the Flyers came out, as I mentioned, skated well. They took the body and they generated scoring opportunities. Again, when you look at the scoring opportunities and you look at the end result of those opportunities and the shot that was taken, it frustrates you because, to me, there's some indecision at the end. There's some indecisions at the point of no return that's causing some of these scoring opportunities to go way down in effectiveness because as the shooter's too close, he's too far in. The pass was too late. The pass was too far ahead. The shooter barely got to stick on it, and really, that's frustrating when you get the opportunity and it ends like that. And I've noticed that over the last few games that when the Flyers do get scoring opportunities, it's a lot like that. The shooter's too close. The pass was too far. The pass wasn't quick enough. There was indecision at the point of no return. and it causes the shot effectiveness to go way down, and ends up being just a little bit of a bank shot off the goalie's pads or hits him up there in the chest protector or whatever. And that's got to be cleaned up too. That's got to be cleaned up. That's talent though. That's a player's ability to smell the net. That's talent. And I don't know if you can teach that. All right, either you got it or you don't got it. But I've noticed that a lot. In a team like the Flyers that's going to struggle to score goals all season long, when you get opportunities like that in the game, you got to take advantage of it. You got to take advantage of 3-on-1s or 2-on-1s or a nice little breakout. The connecting play where he banged the puck off the boards to himself and caught it going down the half wall. You got to make those opportunities count. You got to put the puck in the back of the net. And again, for a team that's going to struggle, and I think they're 27th in the league in scoring right now. The Flyers are. They're averaging a little bit over 1.5 goals a game. That obviously that number is not going to cut it. They got to take advantage of every single opportunity. So the effort was there tonight. The technique was there tonight. They couldn't finish once again, and their special teams once again lacking. 2 shorthanded goals given up. They did score a power play goal tonight. 1 for 4 on the night. They were, as I said, raising their average now to 10 for 56 on the season. But what is it? Their PK is 22nd in the league, and that's got to be better. Again, when you're a team that's going to struggle to put the puck in the net, every other aspect of your game has got to be like hyper-sensitive, locked down if you want to stay in these games. So, epitaph for tonight, the little engine that could, the underdog. The we're from Philly, nobody likes us, and we don't care mantra is definitely going to reign supreme all season long. But when you looked at this game, as the game wore on, you just saw Boston just wearing them away, wearing them down. And eventually they capitalized on the Flyers' mistakes where the Flyers couldn't capitalize on the Bruins' mistakes. The Bruins capitalized on the Flyers' mistakes. They pulled ahead. And then those horses that I mentioned that the Bruins have just ran too fast tonight for the Flyers to catch them at the end in the third period. And that's what it came down to. Came down to what half the game. Came down to what half of the third period. When the Flyers just ran out of steam. And the Bruins' talent took over. That's the bottom line. So the Flyers fall tonight 4-1, 7-7-3 on the season. And that's going to wrap me up, folks. Be looking for me on Saturday night post game, Flyers and Canadians. I'll be there to bring it to you. Got to get that win. Got to salvage a game on this trip. Got to start getting the reward for our sacrifices. It's demoralizing when you go out and play a game like they did tonight, and you only got 1 goal out of it, and then obviously you lost 4-1. It's demoralizing for you. It's demoralizing for the coach. It's demoralizing for the goalie, because you start wondering, well, what else can we do? We can't do anything more than we did tonight, and yet we still lost by 3 goals. Got to just keep learning from these things, and hopefully the puck starts to bounce our way. As again, the Canadians, the Flames, the Capitals, and the Penguins are up next on the schedule. Not going to be easy, but there's some winnable games in there. They got to take advantage of their opportunities, and they got to do what they got to do, and put the puck in the back of the net. That's as plain as simple as I can say it. So 4-1, Flyers fall 7-7-3. I will be back on Saturday night after the Montreal Canadiens game. Until we talk again, let's go Flyers.